Do you see that? Do you see that? Woo! You see where we're going with this? So, undanjira so. Natakuma pena. Or actually, at Skuma pena, takuma finals. Right guys, so the next step after my eyes are done, I dive into the base and I want to start with a color corrector. And this color corrector is called Pro Conceal by LA Girl, and it is orange, which is very important. As far as the color wheel is concerned, on dark skin like me, orange is the best color to sort of conceal imperfections, dark marks, and things like that. So I don't have too much on the go, but sometimes I get like set eyes right here, and I like to put just a little bit. And after that, you just blend, blend, blend. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to spray a little bit of setting spray, and it is an all-nighter. You just give it a nice blend. The key to this whole thing is blending. You cannot blend improperly and then be shocked as to why your makeup does not look a certain way. Like, it goes without saying. You need to blend things properly into each other for any of this to make sense. Alright, so these days people are doing underpainting, which is more so just like you do your contour underneath your foundation. And to be honest guys, I'm not there yet. So I'm gonna do what I normally do. I'm gonna use my NARS foundation and to start off with my base. So what I do is I just boop, 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 boop. Just kind of all over my face, and you don't want to start by going too heavy and doing too much. So for your foundation, you need a good brush. And this brush, it is a Marc Jacobs. It's called the Face No. 1. And when I tell you, I actually found this brush in Winners in the beauty section, and it was a fabulous, fabulous find because it is pretty dense at the top. Not a single bristle has ever come out of this brush, and I think I've had it for about maybe going on 4 years now. So get yourself a good foundation brush that can blend everything seamlessly. I'm not one of those people who use a beauty blender for this step because my brush honestly gets the job done. So this foundation, I would say, is medium to full coverage. Full coverage really depending on if you keep adding more. So it's super buildable. As you can see, it is the perfect shade for my face. And what I love about NARS products is like they've had so many different foundations, and every foundation that I've ever bought from NARS, I'm the same shade in all of them. It's giving consistency, it's giving tried and true, and it's also giving range. Like, I love those high-end makeup brands that put in like the time, the effort, and the investment to make sure that like dark skin to light skin, everybody's taken care of. Because that's the thing. I feel like sometimes low-end beauty stores don't have as much shade range. And what I'm finding is like some of these companies, though they're very expensive, are actually taking the time. Someone who is slightly darker than me or slightly lighter than me shouldn't like use the same foundation as this one, because also I'm not the same undertone as them. Some people have a cool undertone, some people have a bit of like a more golden undertone, like me for example. So these are the things that you need to know sort of going into you know, buying your foundation. What's my undertone, right? And what am I going for? Am I going full coverage? Do I have a lot of like marks to cover up? Or do I just want something super light, super easy, not too dramatic? So it just depends, girl, on what your vibe is. And you also want to blend it into your neck right here, just to make sure like that there's no huge difference between like your neck and your face. The next step that we're actually going to do is we're going to go in with blush. This is actually a newer trend where the blush is being applied now before the concealer, whereas like a few years back the concealer was like the first thing that you do and then the blush comes in after. So what I'm going to use today is this Rare Beauty blush. Rare Beauty is by Selena Gomez. The blush is amazing. The blush should be blushing. So the shade is called Love. Shout out to my friend Mabel. She's the one who actually put me on to this blush. So I'm just gonna do one side at a time, because one thing I learned rather quickly about this blush is it dries really quickly. So you want to get something semi-sturdy and just start blending. And I know there are people that are like scared of blush. The one time I was doing my friend's makeup and she literally was like, please, like, don't do too much with the blush, and especially on a dark skinned person. You don't want to look like a clown, but also it elevates your look so much. Do you see? Guys, come closer, come closer. Do you see that? Do you see that? Ooh. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty. The secret with like blush application is you don't want to lose control. That's why you want like a semi-tough brush. You don't want a brush that is loosely, wound up like the bristles. You want to have control of the placement there. You want to be the one who has the final say as to where this blush ends up on your face. Because anytime you screw up the placement, now you're having to fix your makeup, and we don't want that. I'm also just gonna go in a little bit right here, but isn't that just so pretty, you guys? Alright guys, so the blush is done. The next phase is a contour. So right now I'm using Fenty Beauty, and it is in the shade Ebony, because we chocolate over here, and I needed something that was dark enough. So what I just do is I go underneath my blush and just whoop. Also up here, because I am forehead gang, I typically go in with a flat brush for this one. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to blend upwards, because you want that contour to get married to your blush. It's supposed to be a really nice gradient. I don't know if you guys can see that the contour is disappearing, but you can still see it. Isn't that beautiful? That's stunning. That is stunning, honey. So pretty. And here as well. So this just gives you an extra dimension. So highlighting and contouring, for those that are beginners, that's how you bring back dimension to your face, and that's how you essentially can control some of the features and how they show up in the light or in the dark. So you can pretty much go any direction with highlighting and contour, but some of the areas that are commonly contoured, for example under the cheekbone like I'm doing right now, and on the forehead. So there's two different purposes. On the forehead, the idea is to actually shrink the size of your forehead by adding depth on the top, because later on you're going to see we're going to highlight. And under the cheekbone, it's to add a bit of depth as well, that your cheekbone can appear brighter, fuller, all the things. So I really love this step, and it would really like take your makeup to the next level if you learn to do this step properly and if you use like the right products. So now is my favorite part about doing my makeup, and that is concealer. And as I've showed you guys earlier, I use my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Medium Deep 4, which is called Hazelnut. This is what I found my absolute perfect shade. I've been using it for 4 years, and it's that kind of a shade where even in the summer, when like I get a little darker from the sun, it works. And in the winter, when I get a little lighter, she also works. So love this shade. So this is my concealer placement right now. It's the placement that works well for my face. And then what I want to do is go back up here and cut like that. So because what you want to do is you want to accentuate that area where you did like your eyeshadow. You want to make a clear distinction, so that's why we do that, like that line over there. Then you go on the other side and you cut this. So now it's your time to shine. That blending that we talked about, this is where the test is. Can you blend, blend, blend? So this beauty blender has been drying up a little bit since I started. So the other option you have is to spray it with your setting spray just to get a little moisture, and it even helps to set like the liquid even more. And then you just start blending. So I normally start blending from the bottom. Another benefit of doing this is like while you're blending from down here, you're giving your concealer a little bit of time to set under your eye. You see where I'm going with this? When you're now under this eye, is look up, and yeah, it'll look a little weird. It might even feel a little weird. But the reason we do this is because under the eye, it creases a lot. Looking up, you are essentially unfolding that skin that wants to fold up on you. Trust the process as well. Like half the time when you're right smack in the middle of doing your makeup, you look crazy. But Alright, so now we've got our nose bridge. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my first lady. I think that's how it used to go. Our purpose of highlighting is the areas of your face that the sun would naturally hit is how we decide where to highlight and where to contour. So it essentially decides in the end how your face is going to look. Like when you take a picture of yourself, which areas are going to stand out more than other areas. It is I find such a useful tool. Lastly, I do a little chin atom. The next thing that I use before I proceed, a Fenty Beauty concealer as well. This is it right here, and my shade that I'm going to use is 440W. So I don't go in too deep or in too much with this one. This one comes just right here. Right here in like the part of my eye that tends to crease up or that tends to get a little darker. And that's why I'm here, sis. I'm here for you. And do you see what I'm doing right now? I'm getting rid of any extremely harsh lines between my concealer and my foundation up here. Even here, we're gonna, fade these harsh lines a little bit. So you just take your actual foundation brush and you just start blending. So one thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to spray and I'm going to use my all-nighter. So FYI, you can spray as many times as you need to because you're layering different products at different times for different reasons. Cream products tend to move quite a bit. One thing about summer is brutal. Summer does not care that you have an event to go to. So with this concealer, you want to stay right here. You don't want to go anywhere. Stay here, sis. Don't move around. When you look at your base, you should be like, yeah, auntie. And then the next phase, which is also very important, we are going to set. We're going to use this. This is that Laura Mercier powder that I showed you before. And basically, so what I like to do is I like to use this little beauty blender to go right underneath the eye. And what you're going to do is you're going to go in like this. And more than likely, you're going to pick up too much product. So take your hand and do this, because under the eye, we want it to be seamless, because the skin under the eye is pretty sensitive, and you don't want clumpiness. You want to look airbrushed, you want to look so this is what I use under the eye. It just does such a good job for me. And I'm also going to just put a little powder right here. So now every area that we basically highlighted, we're going to put our powder. We're also going to go in the chin area. Boom, boom, boom. Personally, for me, I don't go super heavy with my nose contour, because I am dark skinned. Whenever I highlight, I automatically contour. Cover your cheeks, get nice covered. Step number 2 is you want to have a skin colored pressed powder. That was a loose powder that I was using, but a pressed powder really helps to like stamp things in place. So you're gonna grab that on this side of this beauty blender. So you're gonna go in like that, right? And stamp. So this is the powder that I use for like the rest of my face. All those areas that I didn't highlight, they get this powder. And it just helps everything to stay in place, you see. So this is like that final touch kind of look. We're almost done, guys. There's actually very few steps left. I don't usually put a whole lot, just enough. So the next thing that I'm going to do is a loose brush. This is like my powder brush. And I go over, like just to make sure things are seamless. We are getting to the finishing touches. My 2 favorite blush powders. Remember earlier we used the blush. This is the Rare Beauty blush. It's like a liquid. So just because, after all the blending, it's kind of like dimmed down. We want to take one of these 2 babies. Well, this is what I use in Juvia's Place. This is pretty much all I've ever needed, depending on what I'm trying to achieve. The combination of these 2, the orange and the pink, absolutely my favorite combination to date. So what I do is I boop, boop, and then I'm gonna come back to that area where we had the blush and just stamp over it. Look at how pretty that is, you guys. I'm in love. I'm obsessed. So, look at this. Look at this. And look at how easy that is. For all my makeup girlies that are like, I don't know how to bring back life. And lately the girlies are brushing over your nose. You can come back down here. Guys, mukona ladies and tukona. Murikona ladies and tukona. Alright, sakata pena. Or actually, at pena takuma finals. The last thing that I'm going to do is add a bottom lash layer, but not artificial lashes. I just like to do mascara for this part. It looks even more beautiful whenever you have like a bottom lash. I just wanted to also share, look at the skin. Come closer, look at the skin. The flawlessness of this base is the reason why I take care of my skin the way that I do. Because makeup doesn't conceal bad skin. It just enhances what's already there, what you're already working with. So make sure you take care of your skin underneath and make sure it looks flawless. The last thing that I would normally do at this stage is an inner corner highlight. Where is the brush? Where is the brush? So the second last thing. So you just take any glitter that you like. I'm gonna go with this one right here. Take a little product and you pop right in the corner of your eye on both sides. It just makes me look more awake, more put together. So when I started doing it, have not stopped since. The last thing that we're going to dabble in, guys, is we're going to set with a little boop for my nose. I love doing that because it just takes everything to the next level for me. I promise this time, the last two final things. We need to do a lip. So for my lip outline, I'm going to use, this is Makeup by Mario, and it is a lip liner pencil, and this is what it looks like. Dark brown, because obviously. And then I did go in. Then I'm gonna go in with, this is a Fenty Beauty. It's a dark brown, creamy. It is called Breadwinner. Rihanna girl, you did your thing. You did your thing. What can I say? What can I say? So I'm gonna go in light. Don't go too much. Just like a little bit. A little bit. A little bit. And then you're gonna go under gutter. I'm gonna try this Maybelline. It's called Maybelline Superstay Matte. Let's see what that does. I think this is a combo I've done before. Without like ruining that outline that you put earlier. This is an e.l.f. Beauty tinted lip oil. So again, drugstore. It's very pink. I'm super girly like that sometimes. I like and you're just gonna go over. So that's the final lip. Now, the final stage. There are two different sprays that you use in your beauty routine. So earlier, we used a setting spray, and this little thing is a fixing spray. It says setting spray, but the wonders that it works, it's gonna be a fixing spray. So this is the one size, On Until Dawn mattifying waterproof setting spray. Guys, this thing is the truth. And with summer coming, you don't want to play around, so you just once you put that on, your makeup is not going anywhere. Oh, really? It's not going anywhere. And that, guys, is the final look. Just give me a second. I am so happy with how this look turned out. Let me know down in the comments, like if you have any questions about the steps, the products, and if you want more beauty content, because I love giving it to you guys. I love sharing. I love creating new looks. Because look at this. Look at this. Like now you're ready to go out there and to show them exactly who you are, sis. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel and watching this video. Let me know down below what you think. Any thoughts, guys? It could be content ideas. It could be what you think about this look. Like, let's interact. Like, I want to know how you're feeling. I want to know how everything is going on your side too, so we can build a nice community. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.